Hey everybody, I'm excited to be here, and it's a little unlikely that I end up here because I grew up on a polygamous compound, which is why I'm overcompensating with this blazer right now. I call this look Mormon polygamous glow up because I look really good, but you still can't see my elbows. I just started wearing shorts like a year ago, and every time I flash my calves in public, I feel kind of like the Whore of Babylon. This dude over here is like unrolling my sleeves with his eyes. So, please buy me dinner first. Call me later. I left the compound in 2007, which means that I was released the same year that the iPhone was. So yeah, I left in 2007, and I don't look polygamous, but honestly, most of us don't. Like for every one polygamist that you've seen out there, there are 5 that you didn't notice. Yeah, in fact, there are probably a couple of polygamists here tonight. It could be you, the age difference is right.
Cody Brown has a nephew that we've talked about on this channel before, the fresh King Benjamin Brown. He grew up on the Brown family ranch in Wyoming and is a very outspoken critic of polygamy, the AUB, and Mormonism in general. He is one of the lucky members of Cody's family that scored an invite to Christine's wedding, and he is continuing to gain popularity on TikTok for his candid answers about his upbringing and his thoughts on sister wives. I want to talk about a couple of his more recent TikToks. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be voiceover commentary, but do not fret. Let's check out my face while we hear from today's video sponsor. I am so excited to be partnering again with Drift. First, I fell in love with Scentbird, and then I caught a whiff of Drift, Scentbird's sister company. Drift creates air products for your car and your home. All materials they use are sustainable, and their scents are made with natural essential and fragrance oils. As you guys know, I have 2 kids, so the struggle to keep my car in some semblance of order is real. I enjoy fragrance, but I am super picky. I don't like an air freshener that is too overwhelming. Drift is perfect. It gives you just enough fragrance to freshen up your environment without being too much, if you know what I mean. This month's scent of the month is Ritual, and it smells so good. This limited edition scent was created with intention for a fresh start. Harmonious notes of earthy sage, cleansing Palo Santo, warm amber, and a hint of soft musk unite to guide you into a space of clarity by transforming your ordinary commute into a ritual of renewal. What's cool about the car fresheners is that you can get them as a subscription. First, you receive a starter kit with the clip and the scent, and then you can just get monthly refills as they recommend changing it every 30 days. Make sure to use my code realiteasquad for 55% off at Drift. That makes it less than $5 for your first month. Thank you, Drift, for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to check out the link below. As I said in the intro, I've talked about Benjamin Brown on this channel before. I did a whole members live stream covering the interview he did with the YouTube channel Cults to Consciousness, and I will link that interview in the description of this video because he goes into great detail about growing up on the ranch, the same ranch that Cody grew up on. According to his website, and I'll link his website down below too, he describes himself as, "I'm the one true prophet of Mormonism, here to testify the one true truth of Mormonism, which is that Mormonism is made up and it's causing a lot of harm. I grew up on a Mormon polygamous compound, so I understand that harm firsthand. Don't worry though, things got better. I escaped, and now I'm a comedian and prophet spreading the good news of the power of owning your body and living your most authentic and expressive self." Needless to say, it does not appear that Benjamin Brown has a very positive view of the way he grew up. Ben has agreed to answer follower-submitted questions over on his TikTok, and check out this one someone submitted about if Cody was the A word.
There's nothing in my experience of Cody that makes me believe that he's ever been physically abusive to anyone. Now, I don't know that, but there's nothing that makes me believe that. Grandpa Wynn, I have direct experience of, and yes, he was quite physically abusive. He had this thing where he would get really angry. He would like fly into these big rages.
We have witnessed Cody be verbally and emotionally abusive on camera. His kids have described the physical discipline they experienced at Cody's hand, and in my opinion, what is described crosses the line into physical mistreatment. But what Ben describes of Grandpa Wynn makes him sound like one angry and nasty son of a bitch. This is Cody's dad, and on the show, Cody has copped to having daddy issues. I'm telling you guys, if you want to get a glimpse into Cody's psyche, to understand the why and the how of how a Cody Brown happens, check out Ben's TikTok. It is eye-opening. During Christine's wedding special, Cody reveals he found out about Christine's wedding because he saw the invitation at his sister's house.
I knew David and Christine were going to get married because, I met David. I saw a wedding announcement at my sister's house. So I was kind of curious to me that some of my family had been invited to the wedding.
A lot of us were wondering who of Cody's family scored an invite and if any of them went. Well, I spy with my eyeballs, there is the fresh King Benjamin getting his groove on the dance floor. Check out what Ben has to say about this clip from season 18.
There's this term of sacred loneliness because their husband's not around as much.
The truth is, everyone's lonely in polygamy. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Ben. I grew up on a Mormon polygamous compound. Now I'm in the wicked world doing stand-up comedy. I'm one of the nephews of sister wives, and I wrote a little ebook about growing up in polygamy. You know where to find it. One of the common misconceptions about polygamy is that it's only the wives who are negatively affected. But in polygamy, everybody's lonely. The women are lonely because they only have their man sometimes, and the men are lonely because there's nobody in their lives that they can be 100% vulnerable with. They don't get to have that deep, intimate connection with anyone because they're juggling multiple relationships. And then the kids are super lonely because there are a billion of them and nobody's taking care of them. All in all, just a really shitty way to organize a family. Then the myth takes that shittiness and turns it into evidence for why you're doing a good job. That's this idea of sacred loneliness, right? You're lonely, but that's okay because you're suffering, and that's good because you're being purified through your suffering. So the more you suffer, the more lonely you are, the more righteous you become.
I am grateful for Ben for clarifying where these terms come from. Sacred loneliness sounds so completely absurd to me, but now I understand the women, children, and men were conditioned to believe that there was righteousness in their strife and that it was all for a greater good. I grew up religious and I identify as Christian, and this concept is so foreign to me. It's been a struggle for me to wrap my mind around people thinking God wants them to suffer. This concept of sacred loneliness seems like the ultimate gaslighting and the ultimate manipulations of humans by other humans to excuse treating other humans badly, but cloaking it under the guise of a greater religious purpose. That's just my opinion. Personally, I don't believe God wants any of his people to suffer, and I certainly don't think he appreciates people inflicting suffering on other people in his name. Ben says this is a shitty way to organize a family, and it reminds me of McKelty's comments from Christine's wedding special.
I honestly think that polygamy is a terrible idea. I don't think it was fair to my parents. None of them got what they needed out of a marriage. I don't think polygamy is what anybody deserves.
I just watched McKelty's watch along to this episode, and she says that while she thinks she was a little aggressive in her comments, she stands by what she says. She doesn't think anybody should live polygamy. I can't wait until the show is over and the parents' financial security isn't at risk, because that will be when the kids are really free to speak, and I think it will be an avalanche of tea at that point. Ben speaks more on if he thinks Cody is a narcissist.
So it's not just Cody. Narcissism is rampant in Mormon society. Because Mormonism is kind of a carefully crafted worldview that's designed to breed narcissists and then the caretakers who enable them. And it makes sense if you think about why Mormonism started, right? Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, classic narcissist. He created an entire religion, an entire cult to caretake him. And then when he died, the narcissists that were attracted to that organization tried to take power, and they've been fighting over that worldview ever since. That's why Mormonism has so many splinter groups, right? It's because so many people in the worldview have this way of thinking, and then they start kind of starting their own version of that Mormon cult because they're the inheritors of Joseph Smith's legacy.
I mostly agree with what Ben is saying here. I think there are a myriad of reasons for why Cody acts the way he does and believes what he believes. His upbringing sounds all kinds of fucked up by what Ben describes, and it really does seem like it goes all the way to the top, with the institution being somewhat culpable for the type of people they churn out. With that being said, and as I have always said, reasons are not justifications. Just look at Ben and Kody. They grew up the same way, suffered the same way, and it doesn't look like Ben is perpetrating the cycle of abuse of which he came from. He seems to be actively trying to break it. Furthermore, it seems like every single one of the Brown children have taken a good hard look at the mess their parents have made and have worked really hard to choose a different path. As always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I will link Ben's TikTok and his website down below, so be sure to check him out and check out the ebook that he wrote about his upbringing called My Dad Still Owes Me a Pig. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to check out my second channel, Sarah Spills. A link for that will be in the description of this video. Follow me on Instagram, Threads, and X at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.